Okay, welcome everybody to Global Sports Formula One Fanatics. I call this episode and this weekend Shanghai Surprise because there's tons of surprises. Guys like Lewis Hamilton have moments of greatness, then they have moments which aren't so great, but we need to get down to the analysis. So let's start first with the sprint race. So Hamilton showed us that what he can do with the car. He was in pole position and he held off Verstappen for 7 or 8 or 9 laps, which is good. It shows you that Hamilton is still a racer, but inevitably we knew that Verstappen was going to pass him. I'm going to get back to Hamilton. Also, Alonso did beautifully. Alonso was defending. Alonso started off in Q3, I think. He started off in P3 and he held on, but and he was being very defensive and stopping the Ferrari guys, but I think he got a puncture, so that pushed him out. But what you see with Hamilton and Alonso is that these are old school racers. But the thing is that they don't have the car. And Alonso is doing a very great job with 1 lap speed, pushing the car using racecraft. It's just that he got a puncture. And the proof is in the pudding because Ferrari, which is supposed to be so sophisticated, in qualifying, they come, I think, what did they come? P5 and 6, right, in qualifying. Because I think qualifying was Verstappen first, Perez second, then I think Lando Norris was third, and Piastri was fourth. Then Ferrari fifth and sixth. So we see that Ferrari has good race pace, but they don't qualify well, and we have to start asking our question self: can they even win a race if they start off in P1? What do you think about that? Let's start with that point with Ferrari, how they didn't do too well and they finished behind McLaren. So it even looks like McLaren is making gains. Why did Ferrari come in fifth and sixth in the qualifying? Yeah.
Ferrari have been coming about fifth and sixth. They're in a battle with McLaren. It's up and down. It's not every race McLaren is having the upper hand. I think maybe this race they have the upper hand, but that fifth and sixth, I mean, who's in front of them? And I mean, there's Red Bulls in front as well. They're still mixing it up. They have
okay, so can I add 1 point?
Admit, though,
Lando Norris messed up. So Lando Norris was he P2 in the sprint race?
No.
I mean, he started on pole.
No, Norris messed up. He messed up in qualifying for sprint race. That's what it was. Yeah. So it seems like Lando Norris does not do well in qualifying. Yeah, thank you, Bjorn. So let's go to you, Bjorn, to pick up from that point. Thank you. Yeah. Bjorn, are you there? Yeah, go ahead.
Get the question.
Yeah, so we were talking about. Yeah, so you were pointing out that you made a point about Lando Norris, but I'm saying even so, Lando Norris didn't do well in the sprint qualifiers, and he didn't do well in the qualifying for the main race. So what's the issue there with McLaren? But McLaren is doing well. So Lando Norris did. So what he came third in the qualifying, final qualifying, right? Yeah. After Perez.
Yes, final qualifying. Yes, yeah. And no, Norris finished P4. Behind Alonso in qualifying.
Alonso, yeah. So that was the point I'm making. Alonso is to me, I'm going to say it right now, he's the most impressive driver in the world right now. And he's staying with Aston Martin until 2026, and I can see improvements because Alonso was holding off Ferrari, but he had a puncture. And it seems like Ferrari, there's something missing with these guys. I don't know what it is, if it's the drivers or the car, but I think they have a good car. And Hamilton has proven that if he's in the first, if he's in the front, P1, P2, or P3, he can drive well. He just doesn't have the car. Now, later on, we'll talk about the mistake that he made in qualifying. But let's go back to that with Lando Norris falling behind Alonso for 1 lap, when I think McLaren has more pace over a lap and even more race pace than Aston Martin. What do you think, Bjorn?
Yeah. It's clear that the McLaren vehicles have more race pace, but I think one thing that is helping Aston Martin is the driver they have.
Alonso,
also the GOAT, the legend himself. I think that the difference between the performance of the drivers, getting the best performance out of the car from Aston Martin, you can see that Lance Stroll is really struggling to get performance from the vehicle and qualifying P11 and Alonso qualifying P3. So the gap is way different from both teams, and it clearly shows that it's the driver that's putting Aston Martin where Aston Martin is. Yes, Aston Martin car is good, and McLaren's car is faster than Aston Martin.
Yeah,
but just
and one thing we
one, the factor of the driver does not matter.
Yeah.
But it shows that matters. Looking at driver performance and driver difference, you can look at the difference between Verstappen and Perez. They use the same car, but the difference between Max.
Yeah, but I will
Perez.
say this: the fact. So when Perez came second, and that shows you that the Red Bull car is sweet, very sweet. Yeah. If he comes second in qualifying. And then it's going to be unbeatable. Verstappen's going to be unbeatable because Verstappen is just as good as any driver. I'm going to put him on the same level as Alonso and Hamilton, and he has a superior car. And if Perez is coming second, it means, and Red Bull is beginning to show us that they're versatile. It doesn't matter what track they're on. The next question is, are they going to make the adjustment to the hybrid engine? That's the only question. What do you think about that?
I was going to say that.
Go, no, Kule, go.
Sorry,
Kule, go on.
I'd missed one thing. I wanted to hop on something very quickly. Ferrari. I wanted to hop on Ferrari before I come back to your point. Carlos Sainz's car, his front wing. He lost his front wing. Yesterday, I think.
Yes. He lost. Yes. It was during qualifying
yesterday. He's still using the same car.
Yeah.
So I think that had a bearing on some of the performance of Carlos Sainz for the Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't think that Leclerc is doing any different to what
they changed the front wing.
So when you say Ferrari is doing badly, they're not doing that badly. I think that it's just a problem that Carlos Sainz had. If this is an incident-filled race, it might not matter too much what happened. We might see someone come from other parts of the top 5 to get a podium finish. I say that because I think Red Bull are going to pull away. Nobody's going to catch them unless they have an accident. The best of the rest, you might be surprised to see someone that is not in the top 5 or even the top 10 get into the podium or top
maybe Tsunoda. Maybe Tsunoda. Who knows?
A track that will allow for incident.
Yeah. Maybe Tsunoda or the home kid from China who's doing his first race. I'm sure they added him because they needed to. You know how China is.
Is it Tsunoda or Zhu is a Chinese one? Tsunoda, I think, is Japanese.
I was saying right? Tsunoda is the Japanese one. He's an outlier, and I think he's good.
Is a Chinese one.
Yeah, and Zhu, this is his first weekend, but I'm saying China told his people, "Oh boy, China rules the world. We need our boy here."
They might have done something
I'll give credit
that we don't know about.
I'll give credit to these the Asian drivers. They're fast. It's just that they're not in the right cars now, and I'm not sure what type of racecraft they would have. But so let's get back. So this is going to be interesting because I think Hamilton can still come 5th or 6th or 7th if he can forget about his mistake. So what happened to Hamilton? Because in the qualifying, he messed up big time. I don't know if it was his fault or maybe he was pushing the car harder because it's not as good as it is. He pushed the car and locked up and ended up not finishing in any of the point positions.
I think he started. I don't know. Was it that I watched the race late, the qualifying late? He came out quite late.
Yeah,
and the first thing I see, he's having an outlap. And he has a very slow outlap. And I'm like, okay, it's an outlap, no problem. He's going to have a couple of hot laps. And then he had a second lap, and it was like, this guy, he got up to 12th. And I was like, what's going on? And then the third lap, he got it together. He was going to qualify comfortably for Q2. And then he had an accident. Well, he didn't have an accident. He made a mistake. He had a lockup.
Yeah.
He had a lockup on his wheel, and it cost him precious time that took him out of Q2.
Yeah.
I think that the bigger mistake was, why did he only give himself so few laps?
Yeah, but we have to wonder if it's the team. Late? I'm not trying to say conspiracy, but we have to wonder if it's the team because when Hamilton finished P2 in the sprint qualifiers, they showed Toto Wolff's face. Toto Wolff looked half happy, half angry. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It was almost like, yes, I'm proud, but I don't want Hamilton to do it. Maybe I'm wrong, but did you see that, Abiuda? What do you think? Maybe I'm just making conspiracies, you know?
I think
I think he was happy.
I'll join in.
He was happy, okay. But you saw his face. He was happy, but he also looked a little bit sad. So maybe the sadness was that, okay, he did well here, but maybe we're not good for the long run. But I think Toto Wolff did look kind of proud when it happened. So I'm thinking that it's a strategy mistake with Mercedes. On the other hand, McLaren, throughout these qualifiers, has been getting more laps in key issues. They got more laps in qualifying for sprint race, and they got a lot of laps in qualifying for the final. So from what you're saying, Kunle, then it has to do with maybe he didn't have enough. He started his out lap too late or whatever. He didn't have enough time to get warmed up or whatever. Yeah, is that what you're trying to think?
He didn't have enough time to cover any mistake.
Yeah. And also, he may have been a little bit too ambitious. He's like, "Oh yeah, let's push it." And he may have.
I think that his car was fine. He was driving fine. That lap that he made a mistake, he was pushing it. He was gonna be all right. I don't know.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just push it too hard. I'm not,
those kind of
and
mistakes,
I won't. And I'll go on record as saying that if Hamilton pushed the car too hard, that's not a problem because it means he's zealous, which is okay. So, what are your thoughts on all of this, Biodun?
Yeah, I think it just shows you that yes, Toto's feelings can be mixed in terms of being happy that finally they had some couple of good news, but deep down he knows that the car is not where they want the vehicle to be.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Sorry.
The performance that they expect to produce is not where they are now. It clearly shows that they are way off. I think for the race is going to be very, like we predicted. It was we called it right that Max would definitely win the sprints. Depending on how the weather is, and the weather was clear, it was dry, there was no rain, and Max clearly showed the pace the Red Bull had overtaking Alonso.
They can do a lot. But Bjorn, let me ask you a question. I know you're a Hamilton fan. Wouldn't you say that Hamilton did very well to hold Verstappen for 7 laps or 8 laps before Verstappen was able to pass him in the sprint race? So it shows us that he's still a little bit of a racer. Yeah.
And hold on to his second place to finish second.
So what I'm saying is that Hamilton hasn't lost anything. It's just that, number one, he's not motivated now. And also, I think because he's leaving, there's not a lot of cooperation in the paddock with the mechanics and everything, which is maybe why they have problems with strategies and things. And also, let's go back to Alonso. Alonso did very well. He was defending well, but he tried his best. But I think there was a little bit of contact and he got a puncture. What do you think about that, Biodun and then Kunle?
Yeah, that was exactly what happened. I think the puncture really affected his performance in the race. I think that was it was with the Ferrari that they were driving race line speed, and that contact happened. But I think Alonso really showed the pace of the Aston Martin in the race. I think I was quite disappointed with Lando Norris starting P1.
Yeah, Lando Norris made too many mistakes this weekend. He
had already lost the first corner. Going into the first corner, he should have just backed off and
in the sprint race. He messed up in the sprint race in the first corner.
He should have just backed off and slotted in behind Hamilton, and definitely the McLaren has a better race pace than the Mercedes. He would have still overtaken him, but it was too overzealous and they don't want to lose. And that sprint race start would give Max an edge because he now knows how to cut off Perez starting the main race tomorrow, knowing that he has to be aggressive and goes on. But on the other hand, it also gives Perez an edge. The way Hamilton covered Lando Norris, if Perez can do that, Perez can actually take the lead of the race. So it's quite going to be interesting how both drivers decide to.
And also when Alonso, very good points. When Alonso was defending himself, it allowed the other guy behind him and the other guy to pass him. I think so. Lando was going past. Was it past Leclerc? And then Sainz passed Alonso.
Lando was going, and yes.
Yeah. So that's just what you call racing. It's just racing. And also we have to remember that Verstappen passed Lewis Hamilton because of DR. But when we know that he was still going to pass him. But he's still going to pass him without DR. But it made it quicker than it should be. So all these things like DR and all that change the sport. But Hamilton's a pure racer and Alonso's a pure racer. What are your thoughts, Kunle? Yeah. And then we'll get back to Biodun.
I enjoy watching Alonso. Alonso is a fighting driver. I started off not liking Alonso when he came on the scene, but what I've seen of him, he's gone to different cars and he's shown. I mean, he's street ahead of. I think Lance Stroll is his partner. I keep mixing Stroll and Norris.
Lance Stroll is his
but
partner.
I'm quite sure.
Yeah,
yes,
you know why? Because they both have L.
He's
Lando and Lance. I make the same mistake. Their names start with L. I make the same mistake.
I get confused, But he's streets ahead of him. Like I said before about the Ferrari, and also what I said about which other car were we just talking about? Not the Ferrari, the McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren.
I think the McLaren this race, Aston Martin. But I think that I'm interested in what McLaren's going to do this race. I think that.
Yeah, this is interesting because McLaren looks like they could beat Ferrari, but we don't want to downplay a super long race. Ferrari's pace.
I think they're going to beat them today. Today's China. I think McLaren is faster than Ferrari in China.
On China, because China is a complicated race. In China, if you're have all out speed, it doesn't help you as much in high speed tracks. So McLaren has more craft and some more balance and stuff. But I still think that Ferrari's pace is so much that even if McLaren beats them, it's still going to be a good fight tomorrow. That's what I think. It's going to be a good fight. But I'm predicting that McLaren. I
don't think Ferrari are up to it.
Yeah, I think McLaren. I think Lando Norris will come second or third. He'll come third, and Alonso may come fourth. He'll come anywhere between fourth and sixth.
The Red Bulls are going to come first and second unless there's a racing incident.
Yeah,
so let's
and
not,
then
let's
most
not
likely
first and second.
Okay, so Kunle, what do you? So I think we're agreeing. Red Bull first and second. Who do you think is going to come third tomorrow?
It's the McLaren, the faster of the two McLarens.
Lando Norris. Yeah, and where do you think Alonso is going to come? The building. Where do you think he's going to come?
I think Alonso will slot in behind the two Ferraris.
He'll come fifth. Yeah. And also, the problem is that Hamilton is too far back, because I would say Hamilton can come sixth, but he's too far back.
No. Hamilton will just be fighting to
one red flag, couple of racing incidents, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But conventionally, the Mercedes is a faster car than every other car on that grid based on where Hamilton is. Definitely should get between the points. Hopefully, he should finish P10, P9.
So are you saying the Mercedes is the fastest car on this track?
No. The Red Bull is the fastest car in this track.
Yeah.
But because of the position Hamilton is in, his car is faster than the rest of the grid above him, definitely.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And so here's another scary thing. I don't think we've seen the level of speed that Red Bull can put. I think they haven't had to push themselves to the limit this year, and that's scary. Yeah. But now next year is going to be interesting because Aston Martin will keep on making improvements, and they've done something smart. They gave the upgrades to Piastri, but any information they give it to Alonso, and he's changing his setup. So Alonso is showing very good race. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So Alonso is taking information, but he's letting them do the upgrades on the other one. But he's gaining a lot of information, and my prediction is that Aston Martin will be top 3 within the next 2 years. And it's going to be Ferrari and Red Bull fighting. And we want to see how far Lewis Hamilton can push Ferrari. What are your thoughts, Biodun? Yeah.
Definitely. I think you're right. Aston Martin has been showing consistency since they got into the sports in 2021. I think they're really fighting to compete and to be recognized as one of a very top 10 Formula 1 team. And yes, we can see that shows by them extending the contract of one of the GOATs in the sport.
I think it was a very good move by Alonso because if Alonso goes to a better team, it still takes time to be used to it. Alonso has been with Aston Martin for 3 years, right? And he's comfortable there. This is his best chance. And what I want to say is that I'm very proud to have seen Alonso and Lewis Hamilton still around. And even if they don't win
Alonso older than Hamilton, though?
Alonso is 42.
Yes, he's the oldest man on the Grand Prix.
And Hamilton's about 40 or 39.
He's 39.
So, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is they're the old school. So to me, next year is going to be beautiful because it's going to be the young man Verstappen, who's obviously the king, versus the old legends. And we have to remember, Alonso and Hamilton were on the same team when Hamilton was a young boy. Hamilton beat Alonso. Alonso was so pissed off he left McLaren. So this is very fun. It's a good narrative for Formula One, as far as I think. What are your thoughts, Kunle? Yeah.
Well, what I love about race car driving, it's not like football. Once you get to 50 or 60, you're not fast anymore. I saw Jackie Stewart in his 70s drive around the Formula One track at a speed that no young man is capable of doing.
Yeah.
So I think that Alonso and Hamilton can go on longer than you think. They can go on quite a lot longer than you think. And they have that spirit and they make it exciting.
Yeah.
Verstappen, for me, is like Gen X, Gen Z. Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z.
Alonso and Hamilton are the last of, well, not really our generation, but as close as we can hope to be.
Yeah, don't forget Ricardo. Daniel Ricardo.
But yeah, he's getting on. Oh, he's true. He's getting on a bit. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's been around for some. Ricardo should be 37 or so, something like that. Yeah.
No. I mean, really, it's people like Rubens Barrichello that are closer to our time, and Vettel and.
I don't know, Kunle. Do you remember? You know who I missed that had a broken leg that I wish could have continued? Remember Kubica? He used to drive for Honda, Robert Kubica. Back in the day,
yes, he was a good
used
driver.
to challenge Hamilton and also Raikkonen. But you know what Raikkonen said? Raikkonen said, "I don't drive computers." So Raikkonen quit Formula One because he was tired that the cars were becoming too much sophisticated.
Raikkonen said, Raikkonen was a good. All the things.
Raikkonen was driving, and his guy said, "You need to do this." He said, "Shut up! I know what I'm doing."
Yes.
And also the year Raikkonen won, it was because Hamilton and Alonso were fighting each other in McLaren, and Raikkonen
was up from behind and he beat them away.
Yeah. So yeah, this is going to be fun tomorrow. So I think the main thing tomorrow is to see where McLaren finishes. If McLaren beats Ferrari, I think part of it is because of this track. But I think Ferrari needs to get its act together because Ferrari is getting faster. They just need to put everything together and make sure that by next year they have everything in order with strategy and everything for Hamilton. So I'll let you guys in. What are your thoughts, Bjorn? Yeah.
Yes, I think it's going to be an interesting race, the Chinese Grand Prix.
Also, Bjorn, I like your shirt. It matches with the wall. I like it. Go ahead. Yeah.
The Chinese Grand Prix is a very interesting circuit, and we can see that going around the entire lap takes over 1 minute and 30, roughly 33, 36 seconds. So it's quite a long circuit, and we know that definitely our predictions will be the Red Bulls finishing 1-2. I see McLaren finishing victory. I see Alonso dropping down the pedal. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren, then Aston Martin, maybe P6, P7 position.
Yeah,
I think it's quite interesting. I know there will be a couple of crashes because of the way the design of the circuit is, and there's also going to be a lot of penalties of exceeding track limits. We saw a couple of that during the sprint and during the race weekend coming up.
Yeah, and I want to say, go ahead, continue. Sorry. Yeah.
One thing Aston Martin needs to try and change is to get rid of Lance Stroll. I think Lance Stroll, just because his father is a part owner of the Aston Martin.
Yeah. They need somebody else who can
does not help.
Yeah, they need someone who can push Alonso.
Maybe Damon from Ferrari can get a drive there. If he leaves Ferrari, I think he has potential.
But maybe they said Vettel may come back. They're saying Vettel may come back. He may go to Aston Martin. You know that, yeah. I think Vettel misses Formula One.
If anybody comes into Aston Martin, the person is coming to replace Alonso when he finally decides to retire from the sport, because Stroll will be in that team for since his father is an owner.
I'm gonna go old school. Kunle, you know who I would love to see driving in Aston Martin? Jenson Button. That guy is a great driver.
He's living his best life right now.
Jenson Button used to be Lewis Hamilton.
Risk his life on any race car circuit. He wants to live his life.
You know what I like about Jenson Button? He said, "I'm beating Lewis Hamilton because I'm having fun." He said, "Lewis Hamilton is better than me, but I'm a smoother driver because I don't care." That's my type of driver. I like that guy. He doesn't care.
I like it when he said, there was one time he said, "I got a pay cut, but don't feel sorry for me.
I make millions. Yeah. Okay, so you guys, this has been very fun. I want to thank you guys. And I also want to say thank you to Formula One for bringing Shanghai back, because it's a very interesting track. It doesn't give you advantages for high speed, but it's not also a racer's track. It's somewhere in between. Wouldn't you say so, Bjorn? Or maybe I'm wrong here. Yeah. With the qualities of the Shanghai track, what do you think about it? I'm saying it's not a track that lends to high speed, but it's also not a racer's track. It's somewhere in between, but it's very complicated, and you have to be a very balanced team and driver to get through it. What do you think, Bjorn?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the track is a driver's circuit, and it's a car circuit. You have to have the balance between the car and the performance of the car and the performance of the driver to be able to balance the circuit, because of, if you look at the sharp corners, the curves, it's a car thing. And you also need a good driver to be able to navigate all those curves and those corners and properly and not get crashed out of the race. So it's the balance of both. I completely agree with some of the points.
Now, in 2 weeks, so I thought it was next week. I think they made a mistake. The next race is in Miami in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Okay, they're moving from Asia to
China to America.
So they need a 1 week break to acclimate.
They'll go to Canada. It's from Miami.
I think there's a Mexico. Is there a Mexican Grand Prix this year as well? Or
yes, it's always at the end of the season. Mexico, Brazil.
But let me see when the Mexico Grand Prix is. So Kunle,
the Montreal one is almost walking distance from where my kids live.
Which one?
My kids live walking distance from the Montreal Grand Prix circuit.
Oh, they're in Canada. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody's going to have to. It seems like everybody's going to have to Canada if Nigeria's economy keeps faltering, man.
Well, don't worry. We'll get our money and get our power, come back with stuff. And we need to go and learn book there, collect a bit of money back,
and come
get
back.
our
Even
reparation money back from them, and bring it back to Africa.
Yeah, even me. No, even me. I'm going to Canada to do IT and make money and then come back to Nigeria to do philosophy.
Yes, now it's okay. I only fight Yahoo boys when they steal from other Nigerians. When they steal from Oyimbos in
no.
diaspora,
to me,
they're recovering reparations.
Kule, 419 is wealth redistribution. That's all it is.
Yes, it's wealth redistribution.
Yeah. And it's actually better than doing Ojoro
but
and
actually,
telling
if it hurts a poor person, I do.
Well, that's Robin Hood, the Robin Hood theory. I'm not against corruption at all. Well, no, I'm not against. Yeah, so that's Robin Hood. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. But don't steal from the poor and the rich. Make sure you don't steal from the poor. Thank you, guys. So I'll let you finish, Kunle. Any last thoughts for tomorrow's race? Yeah.
Yes. So I think the Red Bulls are going to come in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think that the faster of the McLaren is going to come in at 3. I think that Alonso is going to try to get 4 or 5, and then he's going to be battling with the remaining Ferraris and the other McLaren, and I cannot tell what's going to happen there. And Hamilton is going to try to make himself relevant and get up to about maybe 8th or 9th position. If he does.
So I think we need to look. Thank you very much. We need to look at this as a continuous process. This is not just this year. All of this is going to flow into next year, where Hamilton goes to Ferrari. So fans, don't give up. We don't need to talk about Susie Wolf spying or about Horner being horny. Formula One is about racing, man. That was a good one. That's going to be on our Horner.
That was a good line.
Yeah. Okay. Let me let you finish. So, Bjorn, last thoughts, then we're going to head out. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's like Kule said, rightly spot on, and that's just how we're going to portray the result and see. Aside any incidents of crash and contacts, but that's going to be a phenomenal race tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. And also, so we'll be back. So you guys will decide what time. So I hope you guys are free because I'm loving this flow. And Falabi will be back with us in Miami. So the 4 of us will be back. And we want you to continue supporting Formula One fanatics. We love Formula One. We're coming out of Lagos. Biodun is in Abuja, Kunle is in Lagos. I'm in Washington, D.C., but we thank people who watch our show. And we want to let everybody know that we love Formula One. And we're going to be back tomorrow to talk about results of the race, probably around 12 or 1 o'clock. So you guys enjoy your Saturday. Kunle, enjoy your whiskey. Biodun, enjoy your nap, because I know you work 80 hours a week. Have a good one, guys. All right.
Like, share, subscribe, guys.
Yeah, and trust me, guys, this is just the beginning. This is the beginning. We're going to be around for years.
Have a fantastic day.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you guys. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right.